Holy portal. That's a play on words. Like for my name. Like holy portal. Like if you know my name, then it'll make sense. But like I feel like this is gonna be like one of the calmest crash outs ever. Like a calm, necessary crash out during like transition point, right? Which is today. Holy portal day. Where do I begin? Like I feel like I've never actually tried to use like higher knowledge and mysticism as a form of escapism. You know, like I've more so been interested in how practical it gets. Like how, because you know, with mysticism and metaphysics, things beyond the physical, like you kind of step outside of practicality to a certain degree with certain things, right? Like when you start talking about like other realms and stuff like that, it's like my question has always been like, how can that be made practical, like in an everyday 24-hour on the ground earthly way? Like that's always been my question. So it's like I've never actually felt like I've dived into certain higher knowledge as a way to escape the mundane, but more so understand like how to incorporate it and integrate these things, you know? And because I've like went down so many rabbit holes in higher knowledge, like metaphysics, spirituality, occult, like I've kind of tiptoed through the tulips in all of those areas. Like I make a joke, like if Hogwarts was a real place, like I would have access to all the houses. I would be the one student that would be in all the houses. Like, which house are you in? And it's like all of them. Like I'm in all of them. You know what I'm saying? I got a Slytherin scarf, some Hufflepuff socks, fucking Gryffindor coat. Like I'm wearing all of the house's gear and I'm walking around doing all the things. That's me as a multidimensional, okay? In this lifetime. Because like I want to understand how these things work in a living experience today and in this lifetime and in this time. So it's like whenever people talk about certain things that are like beyond this realm and beyond the reveal, I'm just like, how does it make sense though? Does it make sense though? Like, does it make something clearer for you every day? Does it sharpen your awareness of your being and your relationship to the things that you deal with, circumstances, situations every day in your human life? Like you're never going to get rid of your human experience so long as you have a human body, right? So long as you have a fleshly, corporeal existence, you're not getting out and away from nothing. All right, like we are all a matrix within ourselves, right? That's part of our cellular structure. The matrix is in our cells, literally. It's called an extracellular matrix in our cells right now. So as above, so below, as within, so without. Hold on. As above, so below, as within, so without. Like the matrix that we talk about, like we are that. So it's like the work to me, for me, has been like, how can I make sense of my matrix? Like, what is this? Like, how is the outside a reflection of the inside? Like, how much is the outside a reflection of the inside in certain circumstances and situations? You learn the mirror theory and, you know, how people are mirrors for us and reflections for us and of us sometimes. You know, not everything is an exact copy. Not everything is a direct and identical correlation to what we are. Sometimes it's to get us to see, you know what I mean? And just get us to make an association and say, oh, that's that. And recognize ourselves as something that may be outside of that or more evolved. You know what I'm saying? Not everything is like, just because you know, say you live in a rural area or in a hood, like that doesn't mean that you're not worthy of living in the sub, like, you know what I mean? Or you're less than as a person because you live in a certain environment, like just because the reflection on the outside is that's not what that means. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, you learn certain things that either heighten your awareness and improve your clarity, or they don't. And so that's what I'm saying. It's like when we have awakenings and we go through portals and transition, stuff like that, it's like, are things becoming more clear, or are you becoming more confused? All right, are things becoming, are the dots connecting as you're elevating? Because awakening is a ongoing process. Like, I could pinpoint the very first time I awakened, like 2011, 2012 was that first. And ever since then, I've had at least 10. At least 10 different kind of like moments. You know what I'm saying? So it's like awakening is an ongoing thing. It's like, and each time I feel like something should become clearer and clearer and clearer. A dot should connect and connect and connect. And so for me, like my spiritual work and my spiritual understanding of things, like from a I'll say a life and death situation or a life and death perspective, right? And the concept of rebirth, right? Because I started studying a lot of ancient Egyptian Kemetic mythology, like back in 2011, 2012, up until this point. So over 10 years of studying like what rebirth and transition is from a practical perspective, like before we check out of here, you know what I mean, from the human body. Like what is it day to day? From day to night is a transition. Sleep is the cousin of death type stuff. So we awaken and we rebirth every day and throughout the day. And then, you know, I've studied more and more about chakras, right? I'm putting together a chakra basics class, right? I did do a class on, very briefly, energy exchange, a class on energy exchange, sexual energy exchange, and I focused on the lower chakras and how the lower chakras have a significant role in what gets exchanged when we go through a energy exchange with a person, an intimate relationship, right? But I wanted to kind of scale back, and from what I've learned since I created that class, which was like 2 years ago, I've kind of wanted to scale back and create like a basics class, because I'm like, man, like chakras are very practical. Like they help with your awareness of self. All right, they ultimately help with your awareness of self. They determine how certain things are projected and how we understand certain things in our day to day. So I'm creating a chakra basics class. So that'll be soon. But yeah, like if it's not practical, I wouldn't even pay attention to it. Like if you're at a stage of your awakening where like you learning stuff, and if you can't make it make sense for you, like I don't know, like that to me is escapism, where it's just like it's wonderful, you know what I mean, where it's like it's wondrous and you're in fantasy and you're just like, oh, astral realm. It's like, well, if you can't bring the astral realm to the physical realm, you're just kind of out there, you know what I mean? I have a Pisces rising. I'm learning this Pisces energy. Like sometimes that you will just be out there and you think that's just the real life, and it's just like, no, if it ain't tangible, if it ain't materialized, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say it ain't real. It's just, how do you make it work? How do you make knowing about extraterrestrial existence work? How does that work for you? How does it work for you to know that you come from a certain star system? How does that work for you? How does that show up for you? Or is it just something to get lost in when the mundane world and the practical world and your human life is giving you the blues? Giving you the blues, giving you the throat chakra, right? Which is how we listen and how we speak. Yeah, I'm gonna be talking in that class. I'm gonna be talking about correspondences and color coding, like how you color code with chakras and make things practical. Like if I say I'm going through the blues right now, so maybe I'm having some imbalances with how I'm listening and what I'm speaking and saying into my reality, perhaps. Right? Perhaps it could be sadness, because sadness is blue. So now I'm dealing with the emotional aspect of where that's coming from. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, it's so many different ways to utilize higher consciousness knowledge and information in a practical way. And it's like, if that's not what you're doing, like you're going to go through this portal and these consecutive portals that we go through, just picking up information and having nothing to do with it. You know what I mean? That's like, it's like it becomes constipating. And it just ruminates. Like I've felt that before, like just having too much knowledge and information and nothing to do with it. And it's just like, why do I know this? What's the point of knowing this? Like that's how it would get to me. Like, this is cool to know, like, you know what I mean? But it's not doing anything for me. So it's like, it's important to know how to make practical and make use of knowledge as a tool. So I found out up until this point. You know what I mean? But back to transition, right? Like transition and rebirth and life and death. Like the spiritual world is always loud. It's loud. Like it can be subtle, but it's also loud depending on your awareness. Like it's always there. It's always there to let you know that something's about to change, right? because that's the constant that we deal with. Something's about to change, something's about to transition, something's about to, and it's like the spirits, called death spirits, underworld spirits, like they're the ones that really give the heads up, at least to me in my world, right? They really are the ones that give the heads up, like, look, remember this, like, remember the temporary nature of this existence, and remember the temporary reality of just time itself, like moment to moment. Okay, like, how do you want to interpret your life experiences moment to moment? You know what I'm saying? Like, when we do affirmations, right, it's easy to focus and zero in on affirmations and certain mantras when we set aside the time, right? We say we're going to meditate for 10, 15, 20 minutes, hour, whatever, and we can focus on saying our affirmations. But what about in the heat of a moment where something changes real fast, or in a moment of unpredictability or uncertainty? Do your affirmations kick in? Because that's when they're supposed to be kicking in, not when you set aside time to do them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how you know you're programming yourself and setting yourself up to always have a higher awareness when your affirmations and your practices come online in moments that are unpredictable. Because it's easy to, well, I ain't gonna say it's easy, but we can set routines and have schedules for how we do our maintenance, right? How we do our maintenance. But again, entropy is that sudden decline into chaos and disorder and uncertainty and things like that. So how well are you programming yourself with knowledge and information that you could use off hit when something unpredictable happens? Like, how well do your spirits communicate with you when you least expect some shit? Knowing how to tap in. So again, back to color coding. Chakra basics. Color coding gets you back in alignment with those basic chakra affirmations. Like, think heart chakra, right? Heart chakra is what color? Green. Whenever you see the color green, that's an affirmation. That's an affirmation. That's a program. That's a code. Whenever you see the color green, whenever your focus and attention goes on something green, that's when them affirmations can start coming online. You start conditioning yourself to say, okay, whenever I see the color green, those are my heart chakra affirmations. When you say, I am love, I am abundant, I am compassionate, I am, however you do those affirmations, right? Whenever you see the color green, that's what it is. That way, when something unpredictable happens, or you dealing with something chaotic or something even unpleasant in your reality, it's gonna be something green around. To remind you, right? To remind, to remember, to put yourself back together. All right? Holy portal. There's always going to be a portal. There's always going to be a rabbit hole. There's always going to be a transition. And what you learn in between those times sets you up for being on the other side of that. Like, when you come out on the other side of that portal, you come out on the other side of a situation, you have your higher mind intact because you've been conditioning it and programming it with practical knowledge and information. It's just not stuff to just be in awe about, I am still learning and I'm still going through things like this. I'm not saying none of this is if I just got something just down. Like, in 10 years from now, I'm excited to see where I'm going to be with all of this. It's going to be magnificent. But it's like, I wanted to come on and share this because, I've come on this channel so many times, and I've posted my readings and the things I do with reading, and I may get into that, and I still offer those services. But it's like I wear so many different hats when it comes to consciousness and awareness and the things that come into my energy field on a daily basis. And waking up in the morning with downloads and uploads, like, this stuff is beyond reading cards for me. That's another tool for me. Okay, I don't need the cards. Lord knows I don't need the cards. Just a tool. Just like any other form of knowledge is a tool. And it's like, how practical can it get? How useful is it? Can I use it? I want to be able to use it. I can be entertained, but I also want to be able to use it because, what else is there to do but learn and grow in this life? And if we're going to consume information, it should have some type of output and productive nature to it, especially with higher consciousness. Because like I said, people use this information to just be out of it. people call it spiritual psychosis. So many different words and terms and concepts, but it's like, if it's not made practical and it's not something that you can ground yourself with, you will get lost out there and it will be jumbled up and you won't be knowing what to do. I've been there. I felt it. So it gets back to the basics. What's basic? What matters for you? You might have to throw away some things. You might have to disregard things that you've learned. I like the things that I felt some type of way, because I'm like, I've asked myself, like, what was the point of me learning that? Like, I've spent like weeks upon months on certain things, and then like I don't deal with it anymore, right? And I asked Spirit, like, what was the point of me learning that? And I'm like, well, who knows who I'm gonna meet and have a conversation with, and then that comes up, and I can say, okay, yeah, I've studied this, or I've come across this before, and now we're having a deep discussion that unlocks something in both of our consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it helps to have information, but some things you might not need to deal with, and it might be later down on the line, or you might meet somebody where you're able to discuss certain things with. But I feel like it's important to have things that are foundational to you, right? Foundational things that you could work on and look into every day. And for me, again, it's chakra basics. But I'll be back on here. I'll be sharing it, as soon as possible, as soon as it's ready, is along with, doing my other class, the sexual energy exchange class, right? The science of that, because that's very, very serious, like very foundational to my understanding of my life experiences in relationship, and how my energy moves. And I know there's other people who have a similar sensitivity when it comes to their energy in dealing with intimate relationship with people. And I feel like this class, I'll be revamping it to put it out again for people to see if they resonate with it, which I know they will. Which I know people will, because, there's so many conversations about relationships and why, they don't work out, or, it's just so many issues, like tripping about being ghosted and all of that. There's so much to look into, and reasons why people act the way they act, avoidance and anxious attachments, and like it's all energy, and it's all like knowing yourself and being comfortable with the reality of surrender, detachment, separation, and knowing what those things are. Like, it's all in purpose and on purpose all the time. You know what I mean? Separations and detachments and surrendering, that's all protection. I'm a diehard spiritualist. It's protection. It can't be nothing else. If you're not with somebody, or somebody ain't in your world or reality, you have to know that's warfare. Either because you're not supposed to be with that person, they dealing with something that you don't want to be in the crossfire with, you dealing with something they shouldn't be in the crossfire with. That is divine order. But we be tripping and upset because we really want to talk to somebody, or we really want to be with somebody. Like, I get it, but it's like, you got to give it up to what is beyond us, right? That those higher powers and higher forces that some people get lost in, and but it's like, it's very practical, it's meaningful. You have to tap back into that. You have to tap back into that, knowing that you are protected and supported at all times by something that's beyond you. And while it may feel some type of way to your ego, okay, it's something beyond you that's orchestrating the time spent away from people and with people at the same time. Those are not accidents. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is just me, just small little crash out, just letting things out that I just need to just get out. You know what I'm saying? Holy portal. Okay?